Hey guys, Dell here from Dell's Rigging Crane Tips. A 2020 yeah. Now, Top Cab of the Liebherr. Top Cab of the Liebherr. Here goes the computer. I've just turned it on, bruv. I've just turned it on. Now, this is a newer model. Sometimes what comes up on the computer is very different to the old models without the Bluetooth to the new models, these models. But basically, the first screen is setup of the crane. Now you can do codes and punching codes all you want, but you don't want to do that, alright? So this overview is going to be very basic, okay? No flies and needles, no raked fly, no nothing, alright? It's just going to be main boom. This is just to get you going. I'm not going to go into details of how to solve mathematical problems and this and the next thing, alright? So very basic. So like the old one and like this one, you just got to set up your things, you know, counterweights, vario base, what your outriggers are set to, your slew. And so how we do this on this one, it's usually very self-explanatory, is you got your numbers here, F1s, alright? So with this one, to set everything, your falls, your counterweights, all your bases and stuff, you just click through the menu. So click that once, and you can go across and across. Click it again, it goes to your next screen. T is for main boom, alright? TK is for your fly, and TVK is for like laughing fly or something. But for the purposes of this, I'm not going to go into that. It's just T, alright? So we want T, alright? So that's good, it's set on that. So we continue through the menu. Now, the counterweights, okay, we've got 31 in at the moment, but you can go up and down. Now, when you want to select it, there's two different buttons for selecting. Enter selects it, alright? Enter selects your counterweight. OK says that you're happy with everything. So don't push OK first. If you're entering stuff like your outriggers or your counterweights, you have to push enter to enter it. Don't push OK, because OK will go on to the next screen. So remember the double arrow, you go to the next screen. You go to the next screen. Your winches, you go to the next screen. And once you're happy with all your screens and it comes back, all you do is press OK. And that loads it up, and now you've got the screen here. Alright, very basic. What you're good for, what you got on the hook, your radius, 16 cheeseburgers, 3 3/4 freedoms, if you see my meme on Crane Memes, your tally, how high you are. I've got the slew brake out, the slew lock, the house lock, your wind, it's on rabbit mode. Your level, it's all there for you. Alright? Very basics of a crane. Alright, so down here we've got an exclamation mark. You push that, and you can go through and check your fuel. So come push down, we're on 38%, so I probably need a fuel up. Alright? Push the exclamation mark again, goes back. You always need to know how to check your fuel. Alright, now on the old cranes, I think it's you hold shift, there's a shift button, and then you press the spanner button there. Alright, so that's it. If you don't know how to check the fuel, you will have a major fuck up and you'll owe a carton. Alright, so always make sure on a crane you know how to check the fuel. Now this button down here, that's your tally. See that? Tally. Push that, goes into your tally screen. You select which tally configuration, 4692s, you look in your load chart book, you select what you want, and then you come to this lever here, and you push it out or in. We can't see, and there goes the screen. See? Push it up, out, or in. Now when you tally out, these will go yellow, and you'll get a little triangle up here. Now you can't don't stop pushing it. You got to keep pushing it until all the pins are green and locked, and this goes to A. Now on the other older levers, I think the arrow goes up while you're engaging it and you're pressing it and you're pushing out boom, and then it goes sideways when it's done. Make sure you don't stop what it's doing halfway between on half pins or half anything. Make sure they're green and you've got the A attention sign, alright, and then you know. And then to go back to your normal screen, you push crane and it goes back to your normal screen. Pretty simple. Then if you want to change, if you just change your counterweights and stuff, you go back to your setup button, which is that one there. Oh, we're back here. Okay, we change the counterweights, we change you know, what outriggers you got out, and you enter it again. Now we're back to the normal screen. Alright, so this is enough to get you going on this one. Alright, now this is your left hand controller. Alright, left hand controller. Okay, so F1 goes through the menu. Alright, so you push F1. Alright, so this is pretty much your aircon system. So you can push like that, and that's your fan. You select your fan, you go back F1. Alright, and all self-explanatory, touch screen. Keep going through, push F1 again. Now these are your lights. On this mode here, your lights follow your load. On this mode there, they just hit the ground. And then you've got your hand, so you can do it yourself. You push hand, and to control the lights, you hold this top button on your lever, and you go up or down. Make sure you're holding it in, because you don't want to start the tally, alright? Okay, I think it's got a lockout anyway, so you can't. Now you can't move anything on this lever. Yeah, it does have a lockout. You can't move anything on this lever unless it's in this screen. So as soon as you switch over to another screen, this controller's locked out. Alright? It's locked out. Now it's back engaged, alright? Now remember, when you first jump in the crane, you have to undo your slew lock. Otherwise you can't slew. Alright, push that and away you go. Alright, on your lever, you've got a horn, you've got your rabbit mode, and then you've got this toggle switch. If you push this once, that makes your clickers work. So you get a little clicker coming in. So when you're slowing around, it'll go click, 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 click. That's engaged, that's not. Alright? Now, to change your speeds on all your levers, you hold rabbit on this one, and you hold rabbit on this one. Alright? And you hold it in for a couple seconds, and on your screen, it will come up with all your speeds. I'll do it quickly. Just came up with all my speeds. And whatever lever you've got, you push it either direction and you can change your speeds. Then you press the two rabbits again and it comes off, or you wait a few seconds. So that's handy. Alright? So very basics on that. I'm not going to go into any more. Okay? Right hand lever. Alright, so we've got the same menu. Okay? I'm not going to go into any of the limiters. Just the basics, man. I've only got one winch on this crane too. Now we get onto this, you can pack up the crane. You can pack up the crane off your digital control. Alright, so you just select the outriggers you want. And then to go up or down, again, you got to hold the safety button in and go up or down on your lever. Or pull the outriggers in and out sideways, but you have to have this held down. Okay? Give it a go when you've got the booms in the cradle and nothing can go wrong. Don't ever engage this while you've got the boom up in the air, that's for sure. Next menu, it just goes back to it. Okay? So very basics. I'm not going to go into other stuff. This is just to keep going. Alright? Now the last thing is this pad, which is up on the right hand side. Alright? Now, pretty self-explanatory. Window wipers, lights, camera lights, your red spiral on top for planes, lights, start and stop on here. Alright? Now down here, same thing on the bottom cab. If you go to my bottom cab video, everything on this hand is controlled by that, except for your inside lights. This is my cab light. See the cab lights go down, bright, the rest of it. Then you've got your side step in and out, you've got your cab tilt up and down, you've got some more lights, you've got your house pin up and down, you've got your counterweight up and down. Now the house pin, if you look down at your slew lock, you've got two little noggins there, alright? And you've got a red bolt, alright? You've got a red bolt. Now when you're at 4 degrees, which is here, 4 degrees, you're off center. And so you lock it in at off center, you push down your counterweight rams, then you unlock your slew lock, and then you slew over to the other little pointer and get that lined up with the red noggin, with the red bolt. And then it should be at 0 degrees. And then you can come up on the counterweights, pushing up on the counterweights, holding it in. Once you hold it in the whole time, it will then beep and go green. Alright? When you push the rams all the way down, you've got to hold until it goes green and it beeps. Beep! You're done. Alright? So remember, you've got the two little arrows there. Line it up with the red one. Alright? Sometimes if your rigger's there, go, hey, am I offset? I'm not coming down on my counterweights, am I? Yeah, bro. Alright, that's it. Now guys, look, I just kind of reviewed my video, so I'm just at the end, just to regurgitate some stuff. But with the counterweight on the Liebherr, obviously, so you got to be offset 4 degrees, and so those little noggins down the bottom point up to a red bolt. So 4 degrees is your indicator. One of the noggins will line up with the red bolt, one of the arrows which are on your slew ring, they'll line up with the red bolt. And then to know that you're off center, what I do is I look out my cab and just see if my top cab's square with the chassis. And if it's not square, I know I'm on the offset version. Now, after a few times, you'll just get this automatically, and your brain will just be in automatic mode, and you'll put the counterweights on, and you'll sort of wake up afterwards and like, I wasn't really even thinking about that, because it's how repetitive it gets. You put them on and off so many times. So, just to go over it again. So when you're putting the counterweights on, you're offset obviously, because if you were straight, your rams would come down onto your counterweights, and that wouldn't be good. So you got to be offset, put the rams down, and then pick up your slew lock so you can slew again, slew to 0, which is your pointer will be on the other red bolt of your slew lock. If you look outside your cab, your top chassis will be in line with your bottom chassis. Put the house lock back down, so the house lock is in, and then pull your rams back up, holding on to that top button until it goes green and makes a noise. So in every position, you need to put the house lock down, alright? There's no like just going to 0 degrees and not having it down, alright? It's just a safety factor. So offset, house lock down. Right over the back, 0 degrees, house lock down, until you've got them on. Then you bring the house lock up, and then you can slow around freely. Alright? Hope that helps. Another thing is, I got a message from old mate. Look, I'm sorry, but he says to me, hey man, can you do the Grove, all the Grove 130, all the bottom cab, all the top cab, all the middle cab? Yeah, cheers mate, I got a VOC on Tuesday. I'm like, the thing is don't go for a VOC for a crane if you don't know the crane, alright? So, unfortunately, you don't know the crane, so don't put yourself in a position where you get VOC'd for a crane and you've never done anything on it. It's just really dangerous. And a part of why I'm doing these ones is just to give people a refresher, or if someone can't read, they can have a look at this and maybe get their way in the book. But the way it goes is you get to a yard with bigger cranes and you work your way up and you get to read the operator's manual and you get good with the operator who's in it and you learn that way. Wanting a whole video which tells you how to do everything because you've got a VOC just means that you're not competent on the crane. It's a verification of competency. After watching a video and just jumping in willy-nilly, you're playing with fire, you know what I mean? Now, if you're competent on other cranes and stuff, and you've been around the block, you just don't know this crane, yeah, okay. But, I can't just, you don't sign up for VOCs or don't sign up for a job if you don't know the crane at all, like anything, Not a good move, And I see enough of that. I used to do VOCs for a company, and I would see it all the time. Just guys coming in, guessing. They can't bring the suspension up. They don't know how to work the outriggers. They don't know how to check the fuel in the top cab. Scratching heads and stuff. All right, so, and that's where it comes down to my video guessing, don't go around just pushing buttons, read the books, watch videos, do everything you can to be as competent as you can. So when you do a VOC, you're just laughing. And the guy goes, oh, you've done this before, mate, and you're ready. Does that mean that you need to do some time on the floor? Does that mean you need to do some time in a yard? Does that mean you can't fast forward yourself into a big crane? Yeah, it does. But it all benefits you, man. It benefits you hugely. Because all that time I done in Tom Thumbs and all that time I did in 50-ton cranes, 50-ton and your 20-ton Katos and stuff like that, all that time is so precious to me now. Because you see guys who skip that. You do. You see guys who skip that process and all of a sudden they just got their ticket and jump into a 100-tonner and they get off to a good start. You see it because you get to jobs and they don't know what to do. They don't. And I see it all the time. They don't know how to hitch up a thing. They don't know how to do a light pole. They don't know how to do, and they don't know how to set up the crane on a hill. They don't know how to set up a crane. And you're like, oh, you don't, like... So right now, if you're in some yard that you don't want to be in, but you're doing all these, hard rigging jobs and stuff, just know that stuff in the future is going to benefit you. It is, man. It's going to benefit you in ways that you'll appreciate later on. Because in a few years, in 5 years, you'll be at a big company and you'll be the only one who knows how to do a tricky job. You'll be the only one who's bit his teeth, who's done things the long way, and then you've got all these other guys with beards and glasses who have skipped that process. So some guys with beards are knowledgeable and know everything. Some guys with glasses know it all. But you get these guesser guys who come in and they look the part and stuff, and they haven't done all of that. They haven't done the hard yards. They haven't done, the Rio bar underneath the power lines. They haven't unloaded 6 semis of bricks. They haven't, and so don't rush the process. All those small crane jobs build up your confidence, and when you get to the big jobs and it starts to get tricky, you can rely on that knowledge. Now, going into a tangent here, but I don't know everything. I'm only 15 years down the sinkhole. I've got another 40 to go, so I don't know everything myself. I don't sit here like a judging dude, but I know that when I was in my youth of operating, I guess you'd say, when I was on stuff 50 ton down, you know, I wanted to push forward and get to the bigger stuff. But now that I look back, I'm like, those years are so invaluable, you know, are so valuable to me now, because I know all the tricks, you know, I know what to look out for. Because the thing is, if you don't have an accident on a crane, right? If you don't have an accident, or not an accident, but if you don't have any near misses, if all your setups are on flat ground and out in mines where the ground's 10 times hard, you actually become, I guess, complacent, and you actually, you know, you just like, oh, I can set the crane up anywhere. And then if you ever work down in the city, or if you anywhere work in an industry with cranes which is harder, or like the milk run in the city, or anything like that, you can come unstuck, you know, and you can tip cranes over, and you can have accidents because you're not actually looking out for the things that could potentially tip things over, you know. Tar seal, for example, looks hard, trucks drive over it, but quite soft when it comes to cranes. So, but the only way you know that is going, you know, setting up on tar seal, and then it starts sinking on you, you know what I mean? And so all these things that you learn, you know, in these shitty concrete yards, and all, you know, the terrible, you know, the small business owners where you just working 12 days a week, you know, like all those things. Honestly, you may think that you're in a shit rut now, but all those things you're learning are going to come back tenfold in a few years when you get a good job, a big job, and they want a knowledgeable person who's competent. And you'll be like, yeah, man, I know how to do that. Yep. And you won't have to worry because you've been through it all, man. You know your shit. Okay? Sorry, long video, rambling, but anyway, like these videos, subscribe here. Dale's Rigging and Crane Tips, a 2020. Yeah.